guys, what's up? I'm joined here with Caleb Christenson out of California. I know that's kind of a different weather right now than what we're having here in Illinois. So I think when I got in here, it was 2 degrees. What's the temperature out there?
It's literally 2 degrees?
2 degrees. 2 degrees.
I think it's a frosty 68 right now. So
I see you got a long sleeve shirt on. I was like, what the heck?
It gets drafty in the room.
So Caleb and I don't even know how, well, I know how we found each other because I was looking to get some coaching done. And this guy ran all of his potential coaching clients through you to just get a feel for them and see if they were gonna be a fit for him. So whenever I talked to you and you kind of told me what you did with this whole marketing stuff, I was like, I don't even know that I'm super interested in this coaching guy anymore, but I like Caleb and I want to, it took a while because what was a month and a half later, I reached out to you and I was like, hey, can you help me with some of this stuff? And then we've been on a couple of calls since then, and now here we are. And the cool part is that with your story, that the vague story that I got, how you were employed by a hospital and now you're self-employed with this funnel flow stuff. I'm like, what a great story to share on Structure U. So here you are. So you worked in the hospital since what? Well, let's even back up because you graduated from Illinois, right?
Yeah, I graduated high school from Christian Life High School in Rockford, Illinois. Shout out to the Eagles.
How long did you go to school there? Just 1 year?
Yeah, just 1 year. So my dad was a minister, but he didn't have a traditional pastoral ministry. He did at one point in his life, but he got into finance and selling insurance, and he started teaching a seminar on biblical principles of financial money management.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
So he taught that all around the country, and in his travels, he ended up going to a large church in Rockford, Illinois, Rockford First Assembly, and taught his seminar, connected with the pastor. Basically, the pastor offered him a job, but he it wasn't the right time. Anyway, fast forward 12 months, some things changed. We were living in Washington, and he's like, you know what? I think we need to go to Illinois. God's calling me to Illinois. We're like, okay. It was summer of going into my senior year. So moved the whole family to Illinois, got plugged in to a great church and a great Christian high school there, and made a lot of great friends. Somehow I became the prom king. We called it spring king. So I'm kind of a big deal in Illinois. Graduated high school, but I'm like, growing up on the West Coast, I just didn't, I don't know, just wasn't feeling it. Took an opportunity back on the West Coast, went to school there, got married, had a kid. And when I was looking for my first job as a nurse, I'm like, well, I couldn't find any work in Northern California where I was living. It was really competitive. Nurses were making 6 figures right out of school. So just a very competitive job environment. And so I essentially threw my net on the other side and said, well, I got to switch things up. I was cleaning carpets at night, washing dishes for this crazy lady who owned a catering company. But I was a registered nurse doing all these crap jobs. And I thought, you know what? I got to do something drastically different if I want a different outcome. So we took a job back in Rockford, Illinois, took the family there, lived there a year. My wife's like, it's too cold. It's 2 degrees. I can't handle this.
Yeah.
So then I pursued some opportunity, and then it brought me back down to Southern California, where I've been since 2010.
Nice. And you're in San Diego, is that right?
San Diego, North County, San Diego, Carlsbad. That's Legoland.
Okay. I was telling you that this morning, I've been reading this John Maxwell, The Laws of Leadership book. And this morning he was talking about how he lived in San Diego for a long time. And it was the most beautiful place in the whole country to live just because of the weather, and it's always golf season, all that stuff. So then when you said San Diego this morning, I'm like, I literally just read about that. So that's cool.
Yeah, I think he pastored Skyline Church somewhere in San Diego proper. That's where he, I think, started developing his leadership coaching. And then he transitioned out of Skyline into John Maxwell as we know him today.
Awesome. And now you work in the nursing field for what? How long did you work in the nursing field?
Yeah, so I became a nurse in 2009. The reason I wanted to become a nurse is I wanted to do faith-based missions. I didn't want to just stand on a soapbox and say, Jesus loves you. I wanted to bring a tangible skill to the people of the bush or wherever. And I thought, okay, how could I do this? I could be a teacher. I could do some medical things. And I hated school. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be a teacher. Medical stuff sounds interesting. Okay, I could be a doctor, a nurse, or like an x-ray tech or something. And I'm like, well, the doctor thing, I don't think I'd survive the school. Once again, I don't like school. Nursing seems like an okay option, right? You can become a nurse in 2 to 4 years, depending on your path. So it was really just this logical decision tree that led me to look at the field of nursing. And then I started following it, and then actually kind of fell in love with the field itself. Became a nurse, started working in the hospital on the medical surgical floor, taking care of your post-operative knees and hips and belly surgeries and stuff like that. Kind of got bored with just handing out pain pills and giving bed baths. And I thought, I want to save some lives, right? I want to get that adrenaline fix. So where you get that in the hospital, either the emergency room or the intensive care unit. Our emergency room wasn't really interesting to me for reasons not to be discussed. And so I pursued critical care. So I worked in the ICU for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Taking care of post-operative heart surgeries and complex, medical surgical issues. Did that for 6 years, and just really got burnout of the schedule. 12-hour days. We'd had 3 kids by this point, so I was working a ton of overtime just to make ends meet. And so, you can basically work 7 days a week as a nurse, which is good and bad. And so I was just really burnt out, really tired, sick of missing stuff on the weekends and rotating schedule. And I thought I need to restructure you. I need to restructure my life to focus on like what's most important right now. And that's my kids, that's my wife. And so I took a job in a procedure center. It's called the Cardiac Cath Lab, where we basically do angiograms. And an angiogram, angio meaning blood, gram meaning imaging. We would image the blood vessels of the heart, look for blockages. We would thin the blood. We put wires into the arteries of the heart. Over the wires, we can put balloons, we can put stents and open up those blockages. So I worked in that procedure center for 3 years, all the while developing this entrepreneurial call I've always had on my life, and developing this high income skill of building marketing systems. So I was always living in 2 worlds. Like I had the institutional Caleb the nurse, but still, like, how do I balance that with being a creative, being an entrepreneur? How do I blend all these things together in my life? And it's kind of led me down this divergent path to where, as you can see from my little graphic right here, I'm doing something totally different outside of nursing right now.
And so a question I have, if we back up, you said early on you thought you were maybe led to the mission field, and then you found that calling maybe in nursing. So and I just had this conversation recently. How did you go about maybe talking about the word or spreading the word without sounding like a weirdo? Because I think now in this day and age, if you talk about Jesus, or you're just talking about him, then you can almost in this day and age sound like a weirdo. Was it hard? And maybe not in the hospital, especially in intensive care, people are possibly on their last leg. Maybe that's something that they're wanting to talk about. But was it easy to bring it, or were you just doing what you felt like was God's work in the hospital?
Honestly, I embraced the weird after a while. I got to the point where I just didn't care.
Yeah.
I had kind of, does it sound very Christian? I kind of pussyfooted around for a while, trying to just just be a good guy, have that positive attitude, but not really be vocal with my
Yeah.
faith. And if someone would ask, I was always happy to share, but I just wasn't vocal about it. I'll leave it at that. And
Which most guys probably aren't.
yeah, but honestly, I don't know. I kind of challenged myself. I'm like, okay, I wanted to do overseas mission stuff. That's not happening right now, for a number of reasons. And so I thought, okay, well, just because I'm not in the bush doesn't mean I can't share the word of God. So the way I kind of transitioned into it is I started being a lot more vocal with my faith to my patients. So I would say, I wouldn't force them. I would say, hey, can I pray with you about this?
That's awesome.
Most patients in the ICU are not having their best day ever, and they're very open to prayer. Okay?
Yeah.
So
good for you.
Got a chance to pray for a lot of patients. Prayed for patients on their deathbed. Prayed for patients to accept Christ, and then their bed was empty the next morning. So some really cool experiences in that regard that I will always cherish. And I really thought, okay, I'm a missionary in the hospital. I'm undercover and I'm paid by the federal government, best of both worlds. All right. So I embraced that. But then the next transition was, I'm working with, let me turn off my notifications. They're dinging my ear. I need to be more outgoing with my coworkers. Right. And I was kind of wrestling with this and realizing that I needed to be more vocal, or I wanted to be, And I watched a video by a guy named Todd White. Are you familiar with Todd White?
Nope, but I'm gonna write his name down.
Yeah, watch a few videos of Todd White, and he just like man on the street praying for people getting saved, full of the Holy Spirit, healed, all kinds of crazy stuff. And this guy was a nasty dude. He was kind of a Paul type, drug dealer, drug addict, just a loser, to put it nicely. Had a bad drug deal where the guy pulled a gun on him. He set up a drug buy. He tried to buy but he lied to the guy, said he was an undercover cop, and basically the guy pulled a gun on him. He was trying to steal the drugs. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Guy pulls a gun on him from 6-7 feet away, so not point blank, but like close enough that you can't miss. Unloads a whole clip on him. Not one bullet hits him.
Really?
And he's like looking at it, and he runs away. He's driving away, and he's looking at himself like, where am I bleeding? Right? Because the guy emptied a clip on him, right? Almost point blank. And he heard the audible voice of Jesus saying something like, I took those bullets for you. When will you follow me?
Ooh, that's good. Wow.
Something like it was something like that. If you look up Todd White testimony, you'll hear his story. And it was like, that was the catalyst that like led him down this journey of discovery, ends up radically encountering Jesus. Now the guy is crazy in all the right ways. Okay. So I saw this guy's story and how he shares his faith. I'm like, I can do this. And so I just started like, I would answer the hospital phone, like, hey, Caleb, the nurse, ICU, Jesus loves you. Right. And it got to the point where my manager pulled me into into an office and basically made me sign this piece of paper that says like, you have freedom of speech, but you really shouldn't be saying this. You're making people uncomfortable. And so I'm like,
you say that's the point.
Yeah. And so I don't know if I got scared or I was just like, I don't need conflict in my life right now, but, or, I really need to be more strategic about this. Okay. So anyway, that was a long answer to a short question, but
it's a great answer because, and too, I think that it makes me wonder too, how, because being in this is a fairly entrepreneurial group. You said you had kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit in your life or in your heart for a long time. Like, how did you go? Because I think, what was it, in December, you were still, up until early December, you're still a full-time employee at the hospital. Now you're over here running this funnel flow mastermind group all on your own. Like, what happened that you were able to go full-time in this and be your own boss now?
What's my origin story? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So I've always been an entrepreneur. When I was 12, I was negotiating with lawn care prices for the 80-year-old woman who lived next door. Okay. So my dad was an entrepreneur. He taught this seminar. He sold insurance. My dad was a self-made man. And so that was kind of an early model of just entrepreneurship, create value in the marketplace, create an offer people want. And my dad had an expert-based business, financial consulting.
Mm-hmm.
He sold products, financial products and services. And so that was kind of like the model. So I think I don't know, I was just, from an early age, I got my first job when I was barely 14. Well, I was, newspapers, pulled them around on my bike. And then when I was 14, I got my first job at Wendy's. And then I went across the street to the grocery store. So like I've pretty much been employed since I was 14, right? So I've always been looking for ways to make more money. That's just kind of been my mindset. And when I was about 17, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and it ruined my life. And basically the premise of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is don't sell your labor, right? Everyone's selling something. Either you're selling your labor, your expertise, or you're selling products and services or assets that you own to create cash flow. And I thought, crap, I've been selling my labor. I need to look for assets, products, and services I can sell that are not tied to my time so I can scale my income. Okay. I assume you've read that.
Oh yeah. Great book. I wish I would have read it when I was 17 instead of like 25.
So with that mindset, that kind of baked in entrepreneur, not baked in, my predisposition to entrepreneurial thinking, and then the model of my dad, and then reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it was really the framework of, okay, there's really two ways you can look at the world. Like I can look for ways to sell my labor for more money, which is the nursing, or you can create a business, an asset that will produce cash flow. And I pursued nursing because I wanted that tangible skill, and also something to fall back on if, because businesses go up and down, right? All right. So like I was kind of doing the best of both worlds. So I pursued nursing, but I was always looking for opportunities where I could create a business easily to create cash flow. And so when I was 19 or so, I went to it was like a car show, or I think it was a car show in San Francisco with a friend. We came out of the car show, and what would you know, strategically outside the car show convention center, there's a little hot dog cart and they're selling hot dogs. And I thought, I'm hungry. So we got a hot dog, didn't really think about it. Bought a hot dog, sat there on the curb, and I'm just watching this guy make money hand over fist and all these people leaving the conference. I go, man, that's just like a small little cart, and the guy's probably making $1,000 tonight. I could do that.
Yeah.
So I started looking into the hot dog cart business. Starting to get excited about it. Saw for like $1,500 you could buy a little hot dog cart, and hey, you can make $1,000 a day if you have the right location. And hey, this is going to be easy money. And so I convinced my good friend to join forces with me. And then I got a loan from my dad, and I negotiated a little lease at a local park with the local city. I had a contract with the government entity at the age of 20, and started selling hot dogs on the weekends. And so that was my first brick and mortar business, and brick and mortar in the sense that, and so had some kind of learned the business a little bit, learned how to deal with customers. But really learned the principle of location. For whatever reason, all the downtown areas, like outside the bars and the convention centers, like any place that would have a ton of foot traffic, this was before the food truck revolution, before like people were inviting food trucks. Like food vendors were kind of seen like fleas that would steal business from the real restaurants, right? Because right, even though you're selling a completely different product to a different audience, it didn't matter. So I couldn't find any good locations downtown or in any of the downtown areas in San Jose area. And so I was able to negotiate this park spot for 10% of revenue back to the park, the Parks and Rec department. But the audience was teenage kids with no cash. And this is before debit cards and everyone had a cell phone.
Yeah.
So like these kids were broke and they had like, 2 buttons, a piece of lint, and 50 cents in their pocket, and they're trying to buy hot dogs. And I'm like, this isn't going very well. So like my best day, I would do like $100. I'm like, okay,
Really?
this is fun. And I got to the point where I was like trading hot dogs for old skateboard parts, and I made this like Frankenstein skateboard. But I'm like, this isn't a way to grow a business. So it was kind of that problem that led me on this journey of discovery. Like, what's a better way to do this? I don't really remember how I bumped into it, but Google was doing a new thing at the time called Google Ads, where you could buy ads on Google and you get the little text link, sponsored listings. They had a free website builder, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll make a website. I'll do some catering or something with the hot dog cart. I just intuitively knew I needed to get people to see my website. And so I made an ad on Google, and literally the next day I had someone call me and booked me for a catering event for like $300. And I'm like, this is 3 times as much as I would do on my best day.
Yeah.
And I know exactly how many people I'm going to sell to. I know exactly what my profit margins are, right? Like, this is great. And so pretty much from that point on, I'm like, screw vending. I'm just going to do catering. So I really focused on that. And I scaled that business to where we served Stanford, Apple, TiVo,
No kidding.
all over San Francisco. I mean, the California Nurses Association, even before I was a nurse, we served 2,500 nurses in one sitting. Right.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I served a 5,000. It was like 3,000 people conference. We did food service for, right? So like anyway, so that's kind of
awesome.
what led me into that. And that's when I really started to see the power of creating a marketing system. And I'm like, hey,
cool.
If I have an offer that people want and I can get people to see that offer, I can make a business out of that. All right. And what I didn't realize at the time is that is a marketing system. So I did that for a few years. I graduated nursing school. I sold the business, and because I just wanted to focus on nursing for a while. But after a few years, I was starting to get that itch again. I'm like, hey, I want to do this again. So I didn't want to build, I didn't want to have a brick and mortar thing. And so I started dabbling with like, I made a podcast, I made a nursing blog, and I was trying to figure out some sort of like info product angle to sell online. So I basically refined my online content production chops, I guess you could say, like how to build a blog, how to build an audience, things like that. And started learning more about like content marketing and things like that. My friend told me I need to make a Facebook page for my business. And I'm like, that's a waste of time. No one's going to use that. And so I wouldn't say I've been brilliant about it, but fast forward to 2017. And then I just started having a whole bunch of kids. So like, I kind of like paused everything for a while. Like I can't think right now. There's kids screaming, there's diapers everywhere. Right?
Yeah.
So I just focused on being a dad, working way too much overtime just to like keep things status quo. And my friend, he lost his job and he was looking for work. and he couldn't, all the opportunities he was finding were not, they wouldn't really replace his income what they needed to be. Okay. And so this is 2017, 2018, economy was stronger, labor shortage was not what it is now. And he just couldn't find any good opportunity. He was a hard worker, he was intelligent, he had good work history, but just, whatever, the opportunities weren't there. So I said, hey, well, why don't we create an opportunity? I'd heard about this business model called junk removal, and we could do what I did with the hot dog cart. I'll make a website, I'll make some ads. You go run and pick up, we'll get a trailer, we'll tow it behind my Jeep Cherokee, and like, let's just do this. Let's not think about it. Let's just see what happens. And he's like, okay. And much to my wife's chagrin, I started another business, and we started Integrity Junk Removal. And our first job was like $400, cleaning out some construction debris from a kitchen remodel. I'm like, hey, maybe this could work. And so did some trial and error, but then I kind of remembered how I grew the hot dog cart. And so I set up a similar marketing system, and literally the same thing, it's almost like magic. The next day I was getting people calling me to book service. And we took that business from basically nothing to 6 figures in less than 10 months with this little marketing system.
Dude, that's incredible.
And then year 2, we did $130,000 in sales with a no name. We didn't even have our name printed on the truck, right? With basically just a simple website, online ads, and some word of mouth. But
dude,
mostly our growth was driven by the online ads and stuff. But although that's great, we were spending all of our profit on ads, and I didn't understand this concept called the value ladder, which I'll show in a minute, of, okay, I know how to acquire the customer, but I don't know how to take them to the next step. I don't have an additional offer to take them to. Okay. And a lot of businesses hit this scaling ceiling where they're like, they can acquire the customer, they can get them to buy something, but then all that profit is reinvested back into grabbing another customer. Yes. So instead of acquiring customers to sell things, wait, how do I phrase that? So basically people are focused on selling their thing. Okay, so they run ads to sell their offers or to sell their merchandise, right? But really what you need to do is you need to run ads and marketing to acquire customers. That's what I'm trying to say. So I was running ads to sell stuff, which was working. Okay, I was selling my service, but I wasn't focused on how can I serve this customer for the next 12 months. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
And because I was doing that, I was in this constant search for finding a new customer that I can sell something to. And in our case, it was junk removal, home clean out, etc. And we couldn't scale. And so we kind of like hit our limit, and ad costs were going up. And I'm like, I don't really know what to do. My business partner, he's like, I can't do this anymore. We weren't able to replace his income. My back's hurt throwing all this crap out of the truck. Let's take a break. But it was like this problem that made me kind of open to learning again. Okay, how have other people scaled past this? And that's where I encountered our friend Russell Brunson, read his book .com Secrets, and he really gave me the framework of how do you acquire customers and serve them for a lifetime, as opposed to how do you acquire a customer to sell them something once and then you find a new customer.
That's good.
So that's kind of the transition point. That's what led me on this journey of discovery. And through my own learning, I started to invite basically just to have structure but to have structure in my week. Like, how do I be consistent about learning this? With 2 friends, we started meeting weekly on Wednesday morning just to take these principles. And then the first mission was like to apply them to our friend Scott's business, who was a relationship coach, and he was struggling. Like, he was able to provide a really good service, but he didn't know how to bring leads into his world.
Mhm.
And so because I didn't have a business to apply this anymore, I kind of took the consultant coach role without really knowing what that was at the time, and trying to coach and consult him into applying these principles into his business. And it's as a result of this work that it's given me kind of the body of evidence and case studies to start doing this really on a larger scale for more clients, etc., which leads us to today.
That's awesome.
Here I am.
That's so cool. And whenever I first contacted you, it was more so like I was going to do something with Midwest Soft Wash with my washing business and stuff like that. But and you gave me a proposal a couple of weeks ago, and I was on board with that. But then I think I told you I've been going through the purpose-driven life with my wife, and I realized like my passion is not with Midwest Soft Wash. Like I like it; it provides it's a means to an end, is where I'm at now. But also, whenever I look at my future and what I'm passionate about and what I'm doing, it all evolves around almost helping men find that freedom that I've felt once I maybe gave more of my life to Christ and said, dude, I've been trying to do this on my own for so long. It's not working. Like I can't do it on my own. And so then I came to Jesus, and I had to give up a lot of things, as far as like, I was just a normal dude living in this world, doing the fun things, And so after I really thought about it for a couple of weeks, I came back to you and I said, hey, I want to do this I want to explore this option with Midwest Software, or not, I'm sorry, with Structure U. And I want to see what this would look like. And so I've invited, this is going to be a cool part, because anybody that's listening or watching to this, like Caleb's now going to walk us through how we're going to grow Structure U, because I want this is more what my passion is. And I'm going to invite you guys to watch and see what we're going to do. And Caleb's going to take us behind the scenes to see how this is going to all take place. So Caleb, up to you.
All right. So we got about 10 minutes left, and I think we can land the plane in that amount of time.
And I'm excited. This is my first time seeing this too, so I'm excited.
All right. So make me co-host so I can share my screen. Or
how do I make you co-host?
The little dot on my pane, the top right.
Top right.
See those little three dots?
Mine's just got view on it.
So hover over my.
Oh, on your thing, my bad. Make host.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Can you see my little
It's not very big.
Diagram?
There we go. Yep.
Okay. All right. So we got two frameworks here. One's my proprietary framework I call the MVM flywheel, or minimum viable marketing flywheel. And then we have one, this is from Russell Brunson, called the value ladder. And normally I do this on a whiteboard, but trying out this new tool. So here's the idea of the MVM flywheels. And so these things like really play together. So the idea of the MVM flywheel, I call it the minimum viable marketing flywheel, because like I expressed in my hot dog and my junk removal stories, you really only need a few elements to actually start getting leads and sales online. Okay, you need a clear understanding of your dream client, like who you're trying to serve and what results are you trying to deliver to them. Is it just a hungry crowd who needs a hot dog? Is it a widower who needs help cleaning out the house, prepping it for sale? Okay, like is it the Christian entrepreneur man who is struggling with maybe some sin and shame issues and needs to be in community with other men to help support him and help him grow in the area of his faith and family and fitness, right? Am I kind of on point here? Okay, so like understanding your dream client, step one, okay? We would call this your ideal client avatar. So once we have a focused message that we can communicate to the marketplace, makes our job easy. And it makes, one, we're going to attract our dream clients that we know we're going to be able to serve. And two, our dream clients, when they hear our message in the marketplace, whether it's a Facebook ad or whatever, they're like, hey, he's speaking to me. Like, hey, this is my problem. Okay. So it makes advertising effective. We call this direct response advertising. It gives them a reason to opt in or give you their information because like you're providing a real solution. And the end result is a lot better because we have a bunch of people that we really want to work with, that we enjoy working with, that actually lights us up as the service provider, coach, consultant. All right. Because whoever's had a crappy client, they don't want more of. Right.
Yeah.
And so this works to attract dream clients and also repel ones you don't want to deal with. Okay. So understanding your dream client. Now, how are we going to get them to hear our message? Okay. So think of this like a flywheel. This is a continuum. Where do we need to publish our message? Where do we need to publish our ads? Where do we need to get the word out there of our products or solutions, of our marketing message? Okay. So there's different ways you can publish online, obviously. And you can see that's like direct engagement. Like, where do you physically meet these people? Where can you get in front of them organically, like Facebook groups, YouTube channels, things like that, or paid ads? Like, what is the type of targeting we need to do to kind of hone in on this ideal client? Okay. So it's just like picking, how are you going to publish? How are you going to get your message out there? Okay. And also picking a publishing platform and sticking to it. So maybe it's a podcast, right? So, hey, Christian entrepreneurs looking to grow in faith and fitness, listen to the Structure You podcast, right? So we're calling out our ideal client and we're creating a publishing platform where they can start to consume our message. All right. And for me, the junk removal hot dog cart, it was as simple as just making some paid ads that said, hey, I have this service. Do you want it? Okay. Now, how are we going to capture their information? Okay. Once we have this figured out, once we have the publishing platform figured out, how are we going to actually capture their information? Now, I would call this a lead magnet, right? Something of value in exchange that we can give to them where they can give us their information in return. So now, as opposed to just trying to sell them something right off the bat, how can we acquire this customer and begin to nurture them, speak to their hopes, their dreams, their desires, resolve their pains, take them away from pain and towards pleasure, whatever it is that they're focused on that we've identified here. We're going to give them something of value. This could be something free, low ticket, a low commitment level type of lead capture where they can enter your world. Okay. How do you make money off that? Okay. Well, you need to nurture them. Once you capture their information, you need to nurture them and continue to build value, because online we're in a battle for attention, right? I mean, just scroll through Facebook, right? Or you go online. How many times has this happened? You go online to look up something, and then 20 minutes later, you're watching a Family Guy clip on YouTube, and you're like, what just happened, right? We're in this constant battle for attention. So even though we capture their information over here, we still need to be systematic with the nurture, with the follow-up, with the multi-touch points, so that they can like actually, what we're trying to say to them and the solutions we're trying to provide to them can start to sink in through their thick brains. And I have a thick head too, right? We all have thick heads. We are all wired to ignore all these things coming at us, all these marketing messages coming at us. So we have to start the drip campaign. Okay, so how are we going to follow up with them? That's identifying, are we going to do text message follow-up, email? Are we going to invite them into a Facebook group? Or are we going to send them a physical newsletter? How are they going to continue to hear from us? So we say top of mind. Now, maybe, and then somewhere in this nurture, we give them an offer to actually pull out their wallet. Okay. And you can also get them to pull out their wallet for a low ticket offer, meaning a low cost offer in the capture. But the idea is at a certain point, you have to give them an irresistible offer where they're like, oh man, this could really help me achieve some result that I'm really interested in.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you understand that, you create your offer around relieving that pain And then in that nurture campaign, you kind of bake that message in here. This is a solution to this pain that we've identified you're dealing with, that I'm speaking about, right? This can help take you from where you're at to where you want to go. Okay, so within this nurture sequence is the presentation of the offer. Okay, now if they take action on that the first time around, great. But if they don't, right, we need to keep engaging them around our flywheel. You know, are they going to see another ad? Are they going to hear your next podcast episode? Are they going to get a follow-up email where you, hey, check out my new blog post, right? And then continually giving them opportunities to re-opt in, to re-engage, to take action on your offer. Okay. Now, the idea of the flywheel, it's a flywheel. It's consistent power output with inconsistent power input. So if you think of like pushing a tire down the street, you push it once, okay, you push it once and now it has inertia and eventually it slows down. But if you continue to push it, right? Or think of like, I'm not a car guy, but like a crankshaft or something. So you have the pistons pushing against the crankshaft, like the power, there's a power input with each RPM, but in between the RPM, it's still putting out power through the drive shaft because it's consistently putting the power out, even though we're inconsistently putting energy into it. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So you get enough clients and prospects onto your flywheel that, you know, maybe you're only publishing once a week, or they see your ad once a week, but you're always bringing new people into your flywheel, and they're getting these automated nurture campaigns. So even though you're not putting inertia or energy into it like every single day, you're still getting a consistent output of clients once you fill your hopper, so to speak. Okay. So that's how you can once you get this in place, that's how you can start to scale things online. Okay. That's awesome. And so that's how I break it down. So the next thing, it's the value ladder. It's once we capture their information, what's the journey that we're going to take them on? Okay. So the value ladder, it's up on top. It's the most expensive. It's the ways you can serve your clients at their highest level. And then all the way down at the bottom, there's an X and a Y axis, and I always forget which one's what. All right. I was never good at math. All right. So as you go up the axis, it's going to take you more time, but you're going to be able to serve them at a higher level, and therefore it's going to cost more money. Okay. But you can still serve your ideal client down here at the free or low cost level, with still addressing their hopes, their dreams, their desires, helping them get that result. Okay. So for Structure You, this could be simply, right. So this could be your free offer. So this could be this could be a whole bunch of different things. So this could be a free Facebook group. Okay. This could be a free lead magnet. How to grow in your faith in 2022 without so maybe that's like your Structure You planner. Okay. So the idea here is whatever your framework for results are, however you deliver results to your ideal clients, like what are the foundational teachings of that you lead your clients through or your group through. You basically put that into a format that you can whether you give out 1 or 1 million, it takes you the same amount of time. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right. So this is where we would capture their info in a lead magnet funnel, and we can talk about that on a subsequent episode. So, all right. So we've captured their information. Now they're spinning around the flywheel. We're nurturing them, but hey, we need them to take action. Okay. So this could be we need them to pay some money, okay? Because if people don't pay, they don't pay attention. So the best way to serve our clients is actually to get them to buy something, because when they pay money, they'll start to pay attention.
For sure.
So this could be a low cost offer. So this could be simple, like a 2-hour live workshop. Okay, so what's something that you could talk about and structure you for like a 2-hour live workshop that you could do virtually via Zoom that you would be willing to charge 10 or 20 bucks for?
Say priorities and habits.
Priorities and habits workshop, and then insert main result. So for our headline, it would be like, okay, hey, you call out the avatar. Hey, if you're a Christian man looking to stop struggling with this and start seeing victory in this, I want to invite you to our 2-hour live workshop. It's the priorities and habits workshop. We're going to talk about this main result you're going to get. Here's all the features, benefits. Take action now. Okay. And then we'll see you on the live workshop. Okay. So like, for instance, do you see this screen, my build a lead magnet workshop? Okay. So this is a workshop I'm doing to build a lead magnet funnel, and it's $7. Okay. And the deliverable is we're going to actually build out one of these lead magnets live for $7. Okay. That you can start capturing your ideal client's information. All right. Now, the cool thing about these little ticket offers in a funnel, it's you can build in order bumps, so you can actually make more money if they are willing to take you up on your additional things that you're bundled, right? You're bundling with it. So it's kind of like you go to the grocery checkout store, your wife says, hey, can you go get milk for me? And then you come back and you've spent $100.
Yeah.
Because you've thrown all this stuff in the cart on your way out. And the same way with the funnel, do you want fries with that? It's just adding those order bumps and those upsells in the funnel to increase your average order value. The client likes it because, hey, they get more goodies. If they want them, they're not obligated. And also it makes it so you can profitably run ads to this. Okay.
Awesome.
So this could be a low cost offer workshop. Now we need to get them to take action on our core offer. Hold on just 1 second here. Okay, so we've captured their information, but we're not really making money yet. And we haven't really created anything that's going to create lasting change, right? So maybe they'll have some good takeaways or whatever, but like really for this client of Structure You, they really need to be in your weekly accountability and discipleship group where they are growing on a constant basis. Would you agree?
Yep.
Okay, so this would be like our group coaching offer. So, sorry. Group coaching offer. Okay, so this would be like, and we would throw a whole offer stack in here. So we would say, you know, weekly live meeting, ticket to one retreat included. Okay, this would be the accountability cell group. You know, so you're in the big group, but we're also going to put you into a smaller group where you can keep each other accountable. And then monthly challenges. I think I spelled that wrong. Challenges. Okay, let's just roll with it. Okay, and then maybe something of Structure You t-shirt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be, normally, man, this is an awesome, normally $5,000, but, $1K today only. All right. How do you make that offer? We put that in a webinar funnel, right? So where you talk about your framework for helping men grow in their faith and get all their stuff, all their priorities in order, all their priorities and habits. At the end of your priorities and habits and workshop, after they've experienced like this little result, like, hey man, this is great. I have clarity. I know what to do, but then it's like, crap, how am I going to stay on task with this? How many times have I got excited about, making a change in my life and I just fall off the wagon? Well, that's where the offer comes in to help fulfill on the new like breakthrough that they've had mentally. Okay. Yep. So like, hey, you're feeling excited about this. You got your priorities and you got your habits laid out. Well, join our group coaching program, the Structure You Academy, and we're going to help keep you on track with everything we laid out today. Okay. Normally it's $5,000. Here's all these awesome things you're going to get with it. If you were to pay individually, it'd be worth way more than that, but it's just $1,000 today only, or you can pay it for $550 for 2 months. Okay. So we put this in something called a presentation funnel. There is a very simple format you can put this offer into, and you can sell $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 widgets all day long. Okay. And then we take this one step further. Now, what about the guys who are like, hey, this is great. I'm loving the group coaching, but man, I got the time, I got the money, I want one-on-one attention. So this would be your like one-on-one high ticket. Right. So this is where you have one-on-one access to the Mike the Man Newhart. All right. This is, you're going to get a private hunting retreat in the hills of Wisconsin. Or where's your or
I'm not a hunter.
private wilderness retreat.
Yeah, there we go.
Wilderness retreat. Retreat at the cabin. Special speaker is John Maxwell. Wow, how did you land him? Etc. Right. And then we're also going to do other awesome stuff. Other exclusive awesome stuff. And then, Jesus had 12, but focused on 3, and this is open for 12 people. That's 15K. Okay. So this is application funnel. All right. We don't talk about this we don't run Facebook ads to this. We let your tribe know about this, higher ticket stuff. Mm-hmm. And the idea is you're talking about the same stuff as you do in the ebook or the lead magnet, but hey, it's the same framework, it's the same formats in just a different, it's the same frameworks in a different format.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense.
So you're talking about all the same stuff, but you're just doing it in a different format. It's a little more intimate. It's more involved, etc. So I'm out of time, but basically this is a sample value ladder of a coaching program.
And what's cool for guys in this group is that it's not only just for a coaching program, but you can do this for there's a lot of entrepreneurs in this group. You can use this to really increase your business. Maybe not overnight, but pretty close for what you're showing me. It just seems so easy to increase business and increase revenue, man. And for those guys like me that aren't tech savvy, like I would just soon pay a professional that knows what they're doing. Almost like for me, whenever I start doing some handyman work inside the house, and eventually I just hire somebody to come do it the right right the first time. And I should have done that the first time instead of wasting so much time and money.
Yeah. So is it okay if I give a little free offer to your audience?
Sure.
Okay, so this is what we talk about, really breaking this down every week at the Funnel Flow Mastermind. So if you go to funnelflowmastermind.com and you opt into my free offer here, right? Eventually I'm going to try and sell you some stuff, but it's only if you want it, right? The idea is you deliver value and you serve your ideal client. So my ideal client is the coach, consultant, or service provider who is trying to get leads and build out a robust business that can scale beyond some of these bottlenecks that I've dealt with in the past. Okay. And so the case studies of businesses who have applied this model, who have brought sales funnels into their business are like the volumes of books don't hold them all. Okay. So what we do is we break this stuff down every week in the Funnel Flow Mastermind. And then to actually get you into funnels and doing this on your own, for a low monthly amount, you can be part of our like paid group, and you're going to get access to all the tools and the resources to actually build this stuff quickly and easily and start making it work for you. So funnelflowmastermind.com, come check us out. We meet every Wednesday morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Awesome. I'll put a link in. Are you on Structure? You're not even on Structure. Are you on Facebook?
I need to be in the group.
I know. For whatever reason, we're not even friends on Facebook. I'll get you on there, and you can feel free to post that on there so we can get guys that are interested in there.
Cool.
Awesome.
So
I know you're out of time and we got to get out of here, but I appreciate it, Caleb. And like I said, I'll get you added in that group. So if anybody's got any questions, they can come and ask you.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome. Thanks for the time, brother.
Yeah, thank you. We'll connect offline here soon. Okay.
Sounds great. And I absolutely love the whole entrepreneurial story, and your just, that was cool. I didn't know all those details. So that was awesome.
All right. Well,
all right. Hey,
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Caleb. See ya.
Bye.